This story is called Benjie Engie. It seems like they named it Benjie Engie because Engie rhymes with Benjie. It's actually more complicated than that. You see, Benjie Engie used to work for a non-governmental organization, and so he used to be called NGO, but he quit that, so he's just Engie. His parents also were big fans of the song B-I-N-G-L. Okay, let's see what we got here. Oh, and it's published in 1950. Benjie Engie was a locomotive with a coal car, 2 passenger cars, and a baggage car fastened on behind. And unlike all the trains that Benjie Engie had ever known, he didn't have a single problem in the world to be sad about. Imagine that. He had a good strong whistle, his firebox and boiler and wheels were in good order, and he blew the best steam and the finest smoke in all the world. He was in no danger of being replaced by a newer engine that could run faster, climb higher hills than he could. Benjie Engie made 4 trips each day between 2 big cities 60 miles apart, with 27 stops at all the little towns along the way. And Papa remembers back when he would drive the local train from Philadelphia to Trenton, and there were lots of fun little stops. I still have fun memories of Wissinoming, but that's another story. Some trains would have said, "I wish I were a fast through train that did not have to stop 27 times at all the little towns along the way." Nowadays we would say he wished that he was Amtrak. I wish I could be something besides a slow old local. But not Benjie Engie. He never once said such a thing. He liked being a slow old local, and not because he was lazy, just to get that out of the way, this is not a character defect, but because he liked to take things easy and enjoy life and look around and see things. As he puffed along, he rolled his dreamy eyes from left to right and never missed a single thing. He watched birds fly and clouds float and cows munch grass and bees buzz about and sheep lie on the hillside in the shade of apple trees. Sounds fun. He watched men driving cars and... why just men driving cars? Whatever. And women hanging out clothes, and why not men hanging out clothes? But no, whatever. And boys riding bicycles and little girls pushing doll buggies around. He looked at houses and bridges and rivers, and then, when he was tired of rolling his eyes about, he looked down at the shiny rails and counted railroad ties as they went by under his cowcatcher. One morning, as Benjie Engie left the roundhouse for his first run, he heard the engineer say to the fireman, "Well, this is the last day that we will make the local run. Benjie Engie is going to be a fast-through train and go halfway across the United States with just 4 short stops. No more of these slow old local trips for us." "Ho, ho," snorted Benjie with a short, sharp toot of his whistle. "I wonder how I'm going to like that." The next day, the workmen started to work on Benjie. They squirted oil all over his insides and gave him a new engine, 2 new wheels, and 3 coats of paint. In just a few days, he roared out of the roundhouse with his new engine, turning his wheels faster than they had ever turned before. His whistle screeched and he click-clacked over the rails so fast he couldn't count a single railroad tie as they whizzed by under his cowcatcher. Away from the city, out into the country, he chug-a-puffed. Good word, chug-a-puffed. Zip! Past a town he went without even slowing down. Zip! Through another town he flew, but he was going so fast that he didn't dare take his eyes off the track. So he didn't see anything but a great big blur as he went past. He tried to look at something that seemed to be cows, but zip! They were just blurs as he whizzed by. He tried rolling his eyes fast enough to see something that looked like a house, but it was just a blur as he roared by. Everything, boys, bridges, clouds, girls, rivers, birds, and bees, were just blurs as they went racing along, hardly daring to look to the right or to the left. Whoa, snorted Benjie Engie. I just don't like this at all. But because he knew he had a job to do, he made the trip halfway across the United States and tried hard to be happy about it. But now, Benjie was just like all the other trains he'd ever known. He had a problem in life, and he was very, very sad. Then one very sad day, Benjie found that he couldn't remember what anything looked like. House blurs look like buggy blurs, cloud blurs look like boy blurs, cow blurs look like river blurs, bee blurs look like bridge blurs, tree blurs look like house blurs, girl blurs look like auto blurs. That was fun to say. Even the railroad ties that Benjie Engie loved so much were just one big blur after another. So Benjie made smoke pictures for himself as he roared along. Now this is what a cow looks like, he thought. And this is a house. Here is a doll buggy. This is a horse. Here is the cloud. And this, I'm sure, is a bee. He'd forgotten what bread tasted like, but that's another story. No, screeched Benjie with his whistle full of tears. I don't want to just remember one thing from another. I want to really see them again. Benjie got so unhappy that his whistle wouldn't blow right. He coughed and spluttered and cried big steamy tears. They ran down and rusted important levers, which made his wheels turn wobbly and shake the cars about. What is the matter with this train? Asked the passengers and the conductor. What is the matter with Benjie Engie? Asked the engineer. I have never seen him act this way before, said the fireman. Instead of getting better, Benjie got worse and worse. Not because he wanted to, again, noting lack of character defect here, but because he couldn't help it. If only I were a slow old local again and could see something besides blurs, sighed Benjie. Then one day, Benjie Engie's whistle wouldn't blow at all. Coal wouldn't even splutter in his firebox, and his wheels wouldn't turn, and he couldn't puff out so much as a thimbleful of steam or smoke. Benjie Engie is not the locomotive he used to be, said the president of the railroad. We had better put him in the roundhouse for a few days and see if we can get him to go again. And then, said the president slowly, we shall have to put him back on the slow old local run. That is all he is good for now, he snorted. Benjie Engie wanted to jump for joy as he was taken to the roundhouse, but he didn't dare. The workmen took the two new wheels off and put the old ones on again. They took off the new engine and gave the old one back to Benjie. Then they squirted oil inside and out until he was shiny and greasy. The very next day, Benjie Engie went back to the slow old local one. He had to remember not to act too frisky for fear of being made a fast-through train again. He was beginning to understand the Peter principle. Benjie Engie was once again a happy, healthy train, for now he didn't have a problem in life anymore. From one big city to another big city, 60 miles away, with 27 stops along the way. Benjie Engie took his time and rolled along. He saw bridges, rivers, bees, houses, boys on bicycles, men driving autos, women hanging up clothes, and little girls pushing doll buggies around. Gender segregation, but hey, that was the 1950s.